The ER Show.
It's the ER Show, the boy Flu, Season Ash to me, Shade of Love, and we have the beautiful Rhavynn Drummer, casting director, producer, director.
Yes.
What else did you do?
You pretty much got it all right there,
Okay.
Sometimes craft services. No, I'm kidding.
Writer, actor, Aquarius, extraordinaire.
Yes.
What got you into the game?
I started in 2007. So I started off interning at Tyler Perry Studios. Still, I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do. I didn't know, what departments were in a film, film production. But I started off, I was Roger Bob's intern.
Okay.
Yes, I always tell people, one of my first jobs was I had to get, this is when the iPhone first came out, so I had to wait online at Perimeter Mall for about 6 or 7 hours to get the first generation iPhone. But yeah, I started off as his assistant, and then I went to work with Reuben Cannon, who, if you don't know him, look him up. He cast The Color Purple. He discovered, Kathy Bates and whatnot. So that's really how I started. I just didn't know that I would land in casting. I knew I wanted to be around actors.
Okay.
I just didn't know what that looked like. And it just turned out that casting was it. So that's really how I got my start in Atlanta. This was before everything that's popping off.
For the explosion.
It was just
industry.
us, and I think The Blind Side had just filmed, and that was pretty much it.
Wow.
So yeah.
So how was your transition from being an intern to actually casting for Tyler Perry?
It was lengthy. What I mean by that is I worked as an intern for 6 months.
Oh, that's pretty
I was
quick.
it was well, pretty much I'll say off and on for a good 6 months. But it was for me, that transition. I tell everyone, I've literally worked in every single department. I worked as an on-set PA, which was awful. I worked as an office PA. I worked in the accounting department. So me being an intern, I got a chance to really get a taste for a lot of different departments at the studio. I ended up being the full-time casting assistant under Alpha Tyler about a year after I started. So then, for me, it was I was able to focus on one thing, and that was just casting.
Okay.
And so I worked as a casting assistant for 4 years, and then that's when I transitioned to becoming a casting director.
Was that something that you wanted to do? I know you said you wanted to be in the game, but once you got, as assistant casting director, was it I really want to do this?
Right. Did that light bulb go off?
This is
up.
You know what? It's so funny. Someone was a friend of mine from college was it makes so much sense that you landed in casting because I acted in college, because I wanted to direct, and casting is really a combination of both. I did not know that I was going to become a casting director. It's something that for me, I didn't know. I still thought and I still do want to do more producing. But the fact that I am casting makes complete sense to me as well, and it's something that I love, and I love working with actors. The transition from being a casting assistant to casting director was at first a shock for sure, but I will say my last year of being a casting assistant, I started consciously making decisions to act like a casting director. Why? I don't know, but I would try to be a step above or step forward in terms of okay, you know what? I know that Alpha's going to need this, so let me just go ahead and do this before she has to ask me about this. Let me go ahead and start to make selections or whatnot. So I feel I consciously made the decisions to start acting like a casting director. And then what do you know?
I'm talking about your transition from the assistant to the amazing cast director that you are now.
Thank you.
I love that you said you started being proactive, talking about really carrying yourself as the casting director, as a man thinking, as a woman thinking. I love that. So tell us a little bit about specifically being a casting director in the Southeast market, Atlanta market specifically. What are some of the things that you love about this market?
You know what? I think that this market is the most I really find that actors are really cheering each other on. Like, y'all are really, like, very much of a family. And so I feel like this market, I find a lot, I always tell actors, like, to get your tribe. Get your actor tribe.
Find your tribe.
Yes, because, like, that's how you're going to find out about auditions, about classes, about what one actor's experience is with an agent.
Right.
And I find that a lot of the artists are very giving, are very sharing, and are really helping each other out and building. Like,
Absolutely.
you know, we have like an alchemy group, for instance, and the fact that people have like created projects just from like meeting at alchemy or working together, and I'm like, that's pretty dope, you know? And it's like all of us trying to help each other get to whatever our next level is. So I feel like the Southeast is very unique in that it does feel like once you found your community, like we're really in this together. You know? So yeah.
It's definitely the Black Hollywood, and you hear that term a lot.
Yeah.
But for some reason, people still reach out to LA, New York. What do you think about that, and what do you think about the actual talent that's in Atlanta? Because I did see you put something online one time.
What I do?
It made me think. You
Social
know, it made me
media,
think.
what I
I think you was in Dallas,
Yes.
and you was like,
Yes.
you Atlanta actors, y'all need to watch out. Dallas is right behind y'all.
Hell yeah,
So-
I did.
Yeah, so talk about some of the things that the market, you feel like, you talked about the good things about the movie. So what are some of the things that we could, you know, the Atlanta market, that you see room for improvement, maybe?
I think the biggest thing is that, and I get it, but I feel like the biggest thing is that Atlanta doesn't see itself as Atlanta is not a place where many people can make a living from being an actor. And like, that is something that I see changing. There are some, but there needs to be a bigger population of people that are making their living off of their work and off of their art. And for years, you know, Atlanta was like, acting was like a hobby city. Like, you could make some money and it was more like a side gig, but not like your main thing. It's changing. But I think because for years it wasn't the main thing, there's like a mentality of like, okay, like for instance, I find like if I may have a in-person audition, but people will not go because like they have to work. And I get it, you have to work, but acting is your first job, you know?
Right.
I tell people, you need to not go to work. You know?
Right,
I tell my
you
homeboy
know?
that. All right,
Yeah.
so I'm going to step in real quick and go back to it. But it was something real simple, and it was an extra role, but it was for Black Panther. I don't think anybody really I think we expected it to be big, but not as, you know, the Wakanda Forever, all of that stuff. And they specifically told him, like, listen, yo, you're gonna be with the main actors, so you're gonna be in that circle. You're gonna be part of his tribe, and he turned it down because he had to work. And then he told me about it, and I'm like, bruh,
Right.
like, listen, bruh, like, you know what I mean?
Damn.
Right, you know, like this is history, you know? So yeah, so I do think that, but I don't think it's all the actors. Like, I just think that the environment, the culture, like a lot of things has to change. If we have to have and present more opportunities for actors to make money, not just off of scripted television work, but off of commercial work, like big national commercial work, you know, or like video game work. Like, those are all things that need to come to the city. I hope are coming to the city, but I think that it's just a different mentality of people who are out in other cities where like this is their main hustle.
Yeah,
you know?
I agree. I was even thinking about that with the quad, and I didn't think about it until my homeboy said, there's a lot of people from Atlanta that's on BT Quad, and they did a listening party, and then one of my homeboys, he was like, yo, this is cool, but in LA, they will have paparazzis outside, there'd be a bunch of camera flashes, so we have to create that culture here in Atlanta, especially being that things are coming to the city, so I do agree.
Exactly.
So what is your motivation now? Like, you know, you started, you didn't know what you wanted to do, but you knew you wanted to be in the game. You became the casting director. Rhavynn Drummer, at this point right now, what is your motivation?
Ooh, that's a great question.
Super Soul Sunday.
I know, very Super Soul Sunday question. You know, I've been asking myself this, like, you know, somebody said, like, you know, like, what is your purpose? Like, you know, you're not on this earth just to get an Academy Award, you know, like, or just to make a movie, you know? And I look at my purpose beyond casting in terms of content creation. And for me, like, I like it. Okay, so for me, I wanted to be a doctor.
Okay.
I thought I was going to be a doctor. I thought I was going to deliver babies. I went to college to become a doctor, and I failed chemistry twice. And I was like, nope, it's probably not going to work. You know, but for me, I see art as healing. So even though I am not a doctor and I don't physically heal people, I see my art as an opportunity to still heal people through my art. So I try to create projects that are in some way healing, or just even like just reflective of like, hey, like we are one.
That's dope.
So really, you are a doctor. We're here with Dr. Rhavynn Drummer.
Rhavynn D. Drummer. No.
Right.
Yeah, because you know, perception is everything, and how we perceive. You know, we own a lot of the time. Our perception of a doctor is somebody, you know, who delivers babies and heals. But you know, if you're healing through your art, why couldn't you? I'm gonna start calling you Dr. Ray. Dr. Drummer. They're like, I didn't know she was a doctor. Yeah, girl. I guess you didn't know.
Because Sheila made me one.
Now, being a black female, you're originally from up north.
Yes, New Jersey.
What made you come down to the South?
Atlanta and Tyler Perry Studios, honestly.
Okay.
Nice.
So that's a good reason.
Yeah, I went to school in Virginia, and 2 weeks after I graduated, I moved to Atlanta, and I moved thinking I was going to be here just for the summer. I thought it was supposed to be a summer internship, and I just stayed. I never left. So I've been, June makes 11 years for me.
Oh man.
In Atlanta, June is 11
So
years.
you came up pretty good. And you saying that, like, and right now you hear a lot of black female. I'm not going to say a lot, but some black females talk about the starter line is different and the finish line is different. What do you think about that?
That's interesting. Here's the thing. I agree. I do feel like black women are killing it right now, though.
Yeah.
You know, like,
and I will second that.
Like, we are killing it on so many, you know, like in the entertainment industry and beyond. I feel like we are killing it. I do feel like the culture is changing in terms, like, a lot of productions that I work on, I find that there are a lot of men in positions of leadership, which is something that is changing and needs to continue to change. But I do feel like black women are doing our thing too. So, yeah.
As far as you, do you feel like you have the same obstacles that other people have or talked about?
Other black women or just in general?
Other black women.
Like, there's like that Sheryl Sandberg book, Lean In. And I feel like for me as a woman, I do feel like there are a lot of times where I am making an effort to make sure that I am seen and heard.
Okay.
And I think that men, they don't really have to make a conscious effort to assert themselves to say, like, I am here. You know, whereas women, it's one of those things like where, you know, like, we can work, and it's like, okay, cool. You know, or whereas a man can like work, but he's gonna make sure that you see and you know and I am here and like, you know, and all those things in relationships and connections and conversations allow them to get promoted faster, you know? So I feel like for me as a woman, I feel like I have to work harder to assert myself, to develop the relationships and connections to be promoted at the same level as a man.
I got you.
This is a great segue
Yeah.
into my question for you.
Yes.
So you saw the Oscars.
Yes.
Frances McDormand's speech.
Yes.
And she talked about inclusion writers,
Yes,
and
she
that's
did.
been a big hashtag
Yes.
on social media.
Yes.
So basically, it's the idea that, you know, A-list actors can ask for / demand in their contract to negotiate that the films there be a certain level of diversity in the cast and the crew.
Yeah.
And that it really reflects the, you know, the backdrop, sort of the landscaping of, like, if we're shooting in Compton and we only see white people, like, it just, you know, it has to make sense.
Right.
So I thought it was very interesting that this was, you know, sort of introduced by a Caucasian, a white female, you know, but, you know, a lot of the times, even still, sometimes it takes, you know, the other saying something like, hey, guys, you know, in order for, you know, I feel like people of color often get lumped into the, you know, LGBT, the women, the kind of all the struggle of the, unless you're not a white man. So,
right,
you know what I mean? So, you know, even though they individually have their, you know, struggles, how do you feel like, you know, inclusion writers, is it as important as, you know, she's making it? Is it kind of like an ideal stage right now? Like, is it a real thing? Like, what are we saying?
I think we're going to see that really take effect like this year and the next year for sure.
Okay.
And I think that it's so important that people do have include. Like for instance, my good friend works as a composer. I don't know many black composers. He's a black composer. He showed me a picture of the composing team for Black Panther, and it was all white. Wow. Lily white.
Crazy.
You know, except for Kendrick Lamar, who did like the soundtrack, but everything else was white. And he's like, you know, like, and I've heard like there's another picture like about the behind the scenes, you know, crew and whatnot with Black Panther. Like it's amazing, and I loved it, and it's so important. But there is still, with this huge historical moment, can you imagine if we would have had an inclusion writer? Can you imagine all the grips and gaffers and production assistants and composers and whatnot that of color that really needed to work behind the scenes on that project, you know, to see people of color in front of the camera. So I feel like inclusion writers are critically important. And this is something that should have been done years ago. And so I hope that every artist now, especially the A-list ones, for every project that they do, have an inclusion writer.
Agreed.
Every single one.
Agreed.
Every single one, yeah.
And it's becoming, so, you know, even seeing all black casts or, you know, black directors directing a major black movie is a big thing. But, you know, I feel like
one step.
Yeah, it's one step.
Because the money is really going
one
to...
brick. It's a one brick. And I feel like the general population, when you talk about who's behind the camera, they say writer, director, you know, camera guy. They don't even say DP or cinematographer. You know, a lot of people don't know, you know, a gaffer or, you know, a grip. They don't know a lot of these other roles that are very integral to a production process that are still, you know, dominated by men and white men, you know?
And it's like, if you see, I don't know if you guys saw that picture of, like, you know, it's the 90th Academy Awards, and they have all the people who won Best Director, and it's like white man, white man, white man, and there's like, at the bottom is like one woman, and like literally the rest of it is like white men.
Yeah, that's it.
So,
we got to change that. We got to definitely change that.
We're on our way for sure. So that's on a larger scale, the, you know, the commercial, the big studio. But I want to talk to you about the indie scene here, specifically in Atlanta, because I feel like even how we view indie is changing. You know, when we think of, you know, indie, we think of like, well, it used to be like, oh, very small scale, I did this with my camera, but now you can go straight.
Quality is great.
Yeah, you can go straight to cons. You know, you can go to TIFF with something that you did on your iPhone or with, you know, a small crew. So the Atlanta indie community. Strengths and weaknesses. What are you loving about the indie community?
So I love that Atlanta artists create and create and create and create. I love that. But I do feel like, and this is not really, it's indie and beyond. I want us to have more, here's the thing, the business is still happening in LA. And we still need to figure out how do we create and still connect with the business. Either we need to create the business in Atlanta or have really strong relationships with the business that's out in Los Angeles.
So what do you think about this whole Monique situation?
You know we had to talk about it.
I love Monique. I want to say that. I think she's very talented. I just, my personal opinion, I think she's going about it the wrong way.
Oh, I could talk about Monique. Like this
conversation has many layers.
We need to
pick a layer and go from there.
Here's the thing. I do think that she deserves more than $500,000.
I agree.
And I think that she could have negotiated more than $500,000. However, I do think that the people that she compared herself to, unfortunately, like talent-wise, I think Monique is incredibly talented.
Absolutely.
I just think that career-wise, she is not on the same career path as the Chris Rocks and Amy Schumers.
And the Dave Chappelles.
And the Dave Chappelle. She's just not. And okay, this is not for me too. But here's the thing, like, and I don't think that I think that that's a part of it is like her fault.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is like, of course I don't know all the details, but whatever happened after she won her Academy Award and the fact that there was a whole like, okay, Monique, you need to, that there was a whole discrepancy between, I don't know if you guys heard about the whole Cannes Film Festival.
I remember
and
that,
all
yeah.
that drama and the husband and we know how much you're going to pay us to come.
Right.
Like, I feel like all of that.
Oh, that's for Precious.
Yes, that was for Precious.
Yeah.
But I feel like all of that made people not want to work with her in some way.
Yeah.
And I think that, I agree. Like, be about your money, be about your coins, negotiate your best deal. But I don't think that comparison was strong in any way, shape, form, or fashion. And I want to see her win. I want to see her.
Right.
And the thing that like kind of sucks about it is that she is making a valid point that black women do not get paid nearly enough or nearly as much as their white male counterparts. But it's like,
is she really making a point, or is she just using that to push her agenda?
I feel like she was using it to push her agenda, but I feel like it's affecting, like I feel like the real message is lost in her, the way she attacked this.
Right.
Like, it could have been, you know what, I should be being offered more, period. But not necessarily like, well, Dave Chappelle got $50 million and Chris Rock and I got a piddly old $500,000. Like, to me, like, I feel like she went about it the wrong way, and this could have been a great conversation to talk about black women not getting paid what they deserve. But then it just became like
everything else, the Tyler Perry's, the Oprah Winfrey. And she made a good point. She was on the show and she was talking about, like, I didn't know this, but basically Netflix was for 2 years she wouldn't be able to do no comedy thing. That makes sense. I get it. Like, if somebody's offering you $500,000 and you cannot do any comedy for 2 years, I understand why you wouldn't take that, because you probably would make more.
Right.
But that should have been the top conversation.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Not, oh, well, I spoke to Lee Daniels and he agrees with me, and that, because now you're just taking the energy, and then the same thing that you're saying that they doing to us as a whole, you're doing to us. Because those are our people, and those are private conversations.
And I just really strongly feel like she could have negotiated a much better deal. Like, you can't tell me that she couldn't have used this $500,000 to negotiate either more money or to use this as a springboard for her comedy tour or whatever it is, kind of like Dave Chappelle did. But I just feel like the message of it was so blurred,
I so agree with you.
And Octavia Spencer talked about her experience, and I felt like that made more sense to me. So she talked about, she was about to do another movie with Jessica Chastain. And she was saying that she called Jessica Chastain and saying, hey, like, this is what they're paying me. And this is what you're getting paid. And Jessica Chastain went to the production producers, was like, I will not do this movie unless we get paid the same thing.
Again, another example of other having to advocate for, the POC who kind of gets tossed the whatevers.
And I feel like that was a stronger conversation, because here Octavia Spencer, Academy Award winning, and not getting paid as her white counterpart for being in the same film, So, I think Monique is incredibly talented. I just think that this particular forum and all the drama that you got going on, it was just like, it just wasn't.
You think husband manager has a lot to do with it? No, you ain't got to say it. Just got to make that face.
The emphatic word being manager.
Right. And I just think that it could have been something completely different. I think like career-wise, I'm like, this could have been like a really interesting way to like kickstart. I miss Monique in comedy, you know? But I just don't think I don't think she went about it the right way.
Yeah, I just don't like the fact that she's talking about everybody else, but everybody seems to be telling her the same thing.
Yes.
She said Steve Harvey said it. She said Tyler Perry told her that. She said Oprah. Well, I guess Oprah wasn't picking up her calls after a while, but everybody's basically like, yo, you're handling it the wrong way.
Yes.
You know, and I do agree that she should get more money, but I think the business is somewhere not mashing because, especially with the husband, because when she was doing the interview, they asked, did you counter? And she said yes, but then when you listen to him, they really didn't. They said, Netflix said, well, this is all we're going to give you. You should put everything on a piece of paper and tell them what you want, you know?
Yeah.
And the reality is, like, when you get a manager or agent that has experience in this, like, they will know how to negotiate the right deal for you, you know? And they will know how to come back with terms that, you know, like maybe they accept it, maybe they don't. But I feel like everything is negotiable.
I think everybody was with
That's
her
a great
too.
attitude.
You know?
I'm going to go to the bank with that. Everything is negotiable.
Yeah, everything is negotiable.
You know?
But I think like that whole lead in you saying, I feel like people was with her when she was talking about being blackballed. Even how she handled it. She did her interviews and people felt there. And even the cookie situation, the fact that she was the original person or that they was looking at for her to be Cookie for Empire, you know what I mean? So I think everybody was with her on that, and then it just went left, and for some reason she just don't get it. She's not listening. Well, you know, we love Monique. We want to see you back in the business, Monique.
Yeah.
You know, please.
We do.
You know.
But speaking of deals, like that segue, I want to talk about you as a content creator.
Yes.
Brooklyn Blue Sky.
Yeah.
Brooklyn.
Well, for those of you who don't know, it is currently one of the featured web series on BET.com.
Yes.
It's a part of BET Her, right? Which is an initiative that they're doing, really focusing on the black woman and celebrating her and honoring her. So I want to hear everything about
I'm happy to talk about everything.
Blue Sky. And obviously, you shot in New York.
Yes, we did. Yes, we did. Yep.
I
don't know what gave me that idea, but talk about Inception. How that came about.
Yeah. So my friend Dewey Gerard had written a play called Unholy War, and I directed it in the fall of 2016.
I saw that, which was amazing.
Yeah. And so then he, like, right when we finished it, he's like, you know, I would love to do something else. He's like, I'd love to do a web series. And I was like, okay. So, like, we had like a 2-week break, and then we're like, okay, you know, let's start working on the next thing. And so we literally just wanted to do a web series, and we came up with a concept of 2 writers who were like college sweethearts and had fallen off during the years, but they come back together to write a pilot for Netflix, for Netflix and Chill competition.
How timely, I mean, how relevant is
that?
I love that.
Yeah. And so honestly, like we pretty much spent like November, December, and November and December developing 8 scripts, 8 episodes for it. And that's kind of like how it started. It was literally just kind of us brainstorming some ideas, putting, you know, pen to paper, writing it out. And I didn't know how quickly we would actually get it done, but I'm happy that we did. You know, like I was at home for Christmas, and like I'm in New Jersey, like going back and forth from Jersey to Brooklyn because we had like script sessions or casting sessions or meeting with producers or whatnot, and we filmed it January 2017. We spent 4 days filming in Brooklyn, a little bit in Queens. And that's what it was.
Just 4 days.
4 days.
8 episodes.
8 episodes.
Whoa!
And it was great. It was wonderful. It was brutal at times because it snowed.
Oh goodness.
You know, it was like 27 degrees, and here we are, like outside. You know, we had a beach scene.
Yeah.
You know,
Dude,
so
bucket naked. And
yeah. You know, so I acted to get butt naked, like on the beach. It was like 20 degrees outside. You know, but
that's
we
that
made
New
it
York
happen.
code too, boy.
Yeah.
I can listen. You know, I need a double. I can't do this.
It's different. It's different.
It's a different kind of cold.
Yeah.
I'm already knowing.
Yes, but yeah, it was wonderful. We had a wonderful experience and learned a lot a lot from it.
Pitching wise, how did that go?
Pitching wise, so it was interesting. So what we did is we actually, God is good. So I'll say
all the time.
So I'll say it's so interesting. I put a picture on Instagram of like, hey, like this is the project that I just filmed, and somebody contacted me and they were like, you did a project and you didn't let me know about it. And he's like, why don't you send it to me and I'd love to check it out. So I sent him like 2 episodes, and he's like, "I love it. How can I be involved?" And so he came on as an investor in the project.
Oh, nice.
And then we got into American Black Film Festival, and then what he did is he used his connections. Like we were trying to figure out like, okay, like where can we pitch it to? And he had a lot of connections at BET, and that's really how we began our relationship with BET.
Oh, that's
God is good.
Yes,
I love it.
Yes, from an Instagram picture.
I love that.
Essentially.
So tell us, well, you talked a little bit about the cold and the weather in New York. But I mean, New York is it's such an electrifying city.
It is.
As an artist, as a director, as an everything.
Yeah.
So what, specifically did New York give Brooklyn Blue Sky? Besides Brooklyn, like what did it specifically give to the production?
Oh, that's a really great question. I think like the beautiful thing about New York is you can tell a story with just 2 people walking down the street.
I love that.
Like you don't have to like actually like okay.
There's no script.
We don't need dialogue, And honestly, we have an episode. Our episode 4 is pretty much just to our 2 characters and New York. And so I think what it added, like we filmed in Dumbo, which like I had never gone to Dumbo previous to filming.
Okay.
And so I was just like, man, like this is absolutely beautiful. Like so going to Dumbo, like, we had this beautiful loft in like downtown Brooklyn that we used, like just filming people like on the subway, things like that. We were in like Fort Greene Park. We filmed, like Spike Lee, like every single project that Spike Lee does films in Fort Greene Park.
Okay.
But it almost gave us like this great production value. That was seamless, and I didn't know that in New York apparently, as long as you don't actually have your camera on a tripod on the ground, like you can film. So it's like as long as we just actually like had like our handheld or but as long as we didn't actually put a tripod down, we could film.
So y'all did a lot of steady cam.
Yeah.
Oh, dope.
So
I love that.
Yes.
So you said you learned a lot.
Yes.
During this entire process. Did being in New York specifically have something to do that? Did you, did New York present any challenges?
Oh, tons. I mean, challenges in terms of weather was a big challenge.
I bet.
Transportation was a big challenge in terms of, how do you move a crew from Brooklyn all the way to, what's that beach that we were at?
Far Rockaway.
Far Rockaway, yeah. How do you move a crew from like Brooklyn to Far Rockaway? Like that's not close.
Yeah, that's not.
Like I had to rent a car. I had to rent like a 17. This is what I mean, like when I'm more than just producer director. I was also transportation.
Oh, you was transport
so
too.
I had to
represent all the unions.
Yes, every single one. So like I rented like a 17 passenger cargo vehicle. That I had to go like 6 a.m. to the airport to pick up, drive it all the way back to Brooklyn, then drive all the way back to Far Rockaway, Queens. Like there were just so many issues. Just in terms of like it's hard to maneuver. A lot of like the spaces in apartments are much smaller in New York. So we used to do these apartments to film one scene, and I was like, there are way too many people in here. Like we were holding people's clothes, so things like I think just the elements of the city present its own challenges, but it also made it fun too.
Yeah.
Season 2.
Well,
BET?
We're working on that. So we're in conversation with them, and we do want them to, produce our fund our season 2. So
Okay. Well, congrats on that.
Yes.
You talked about the many different roles or the positions that you've been in.
Yeah.
Do you have like obviously you serve as casting director now. Do you have like a favorite position or one that you got a little inkling of and you're looking, I want to do that more?
Craft
like
services.
No,
Food
is important.
Right. No, honestly, I really love directing, and I want to do more of it. I want to educate myself more on it. I want to try more of it. So I really do love being. I love that role. I love being able to, you know.
Take control.
Maybe that's what it is. You know, but yeah, there's something like really beautiful about, and I love like directing actors too. Like I really love working with actors, and maybe that, like, you know, that kind of feeds into the casting side of things. But really working with them and communicating with them, learning how to communicate with them on how to give the performance that I think we can get from an actor. So and I've been working a lot on, like, you know, like communicating with actors. Like I'm actually taking an acting class myself right now. Yeah.
Let's do
it. She's about to be back in front of the screen.
I love it.
No, but like just to be able to remember what it feels like, you know, so I can like, oh, okay, that's what you feel like when you practice it one way and it's just not happening right now, you know. So yeah.
That's so important. And I've always said some of the, to me, the most, I don't know if I could say the best directors were first actors, but I guess some of the most, you know, versatile, all-encompassing, understanding directors to me are those who have served, you know, in other roles outside of being behind the camera, and most especially the actor. You know what I mean? I love that. Power to you.
Thank you.
I love it.
You being with Tyler Perry now, and you being the casting director, is he supporting your growth or helping you create your own brand as far as being Rhavynn Drummer?
Yes. I'm like, I don't know if I can. Well, yes, I'll say yes.
Okay.
He did something recently that really helped me and something I'm trying to do with directing. So, yes.
You got any other projects coming along?
Yes.
How can we support you?
Well, I filmed a sizzle reel called Before I Met My Wife.
Okay.
And I really want to get some money for it.
Hey, there it is.
I really want to. I want to attach it to like either a network or pitch it so it can be developed. And then, you know, I filmed a web series called Good Girls 4 years ago. I
remember.
And I just feel like I need to do another season of it.
Oh,
and
dope.
so people have been asking me like at least once a week for the past 4 years. Like, so what's going on?
Okay.
And I feel like I need to do at least another couple of episodes for it. So I'm writing.
So that's in the works. We're just gonna put it out there. That's in the works.
So that's one of the things that I'm working on.
What is that about?
So it's about 4 women living, dating, experiencing in Atlanta.
Okay.
And yeah, so I first wrote it in 2013. I wrote 30 episodes of it. And I was like, you know what? I don't know if I can film 30 episodes. So we filmed 5.
Yes, you can.
Yes,
you can.
I wish I would have. Like, y'all, I didn't have the budget to film, you know, that many episodes. But yeah, so it's something I'm looking forward to gearing up and getting back into.
We look forward to supporting you in all your endeavors and
you.
all your hats. Even if you want to do craft services, I would listen.
Snacks are so important, y'all.
They're
Put
so
some
important.
vegan snacks on it.
I'm judging a set. I'm judging a set by the craft.
You do.
I truly do.
Yeah.
Last question.
Yes.
Maria. First Black movie
Oh God.
you ever saw and was like, oh my God. This is amazing. I gotta do it.
You know what? To be honest, the first Black actor I remember is Ben Vereen in that TV show where the kids TV show. I can't think of the name.
I think I know what you're talking about.
He played like a cat or something.
I know what you're talking about.
I know. That's the elephant show. No.
What was the name of that?
I can't think
You're
of
gonna
it.
make me
but
Google.
I'll have to look it up. But Ben Vereen is the first actor that I remember. I'm a musical theater girl at heart.
Me too.
So I will never forget watching The Wiz for the first time.
Yeah.
I literally, I didn't know like what was about to happen, and I was like, oh my God, like that. The Wiz, Diana Ross, Michael Jackson.
Nipsey
Russell, Lena Horne, like that was my first like memorable Black film that was like, oh, this changed the game right here. So yeah,
that's a good
my first one.
Yeah, that's a dope one.
And because it was a musical, that's
Easy
really why I remembered it.
Right.
Yeah.
Did you go to performing arts school?
I didn't, but I did go to a public school that had like a really strong performing arts program. Like our budget for our musical was like $25,000, which like I know, like so we
in
did
Jersey?
Right. So we did like really, really, really high quality productions just because like they were super popular and we had a huge budget. So I went to a school where like the performing arts is like very important. And actually, the daughter of Ruby D and Ozzie Davis was my principal. So they would come to all of our performances.
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah, so
that was
like
super dope.
I know. So I remember meeting them and like they would come in and they would see us in Peter Pan and Wizard of Oz and whatever else we did. So.
Man, you went to a school with the B word, budget.
Yeah,
a lot of public schools.
Especially up north too, boy.
Right.
So your birthday just passed, man. You had a great party, and a lot of people was like, "Yo, I want to marry Rhavynn." How was your relationship like? That's gonna be the last question, you know?
Oh, that's a great question. My relationship status is non-existent, y'all. Non-existent.
Don't believe it.
Help,
I
okay?
don't believe it.
Help.
Oh my God. Tune in next time when we discuss the dating scene in Atlanta with Dr. Rhavynn Drummer.
But it's fascinating though. Like, for instance, a good friend of mine who's single, I asked her, I was like, why are you single? And she's like, I live in Atlanta. I'm like, really?
What does that mean?
She said, I really feel like I feel like me being in Atlanta like contributes to me being single. I was like, I never thought about that before. I don't know if I fully agree. But
you did a hard lip smack.
Yeah. So for me, but I will say like I can do more. Like that's one thing. Like I can get out there. I haven't been like actively trying to date, and I just need to do more. So I'm gonna work on it.
That's what's up, man.
I'm gonna work on it.
Well, you're a busy person, so it's gonna be hard to catch up with you.
Right,
but
it's gonna come to you. That relationship, they don't have to catch you. Okay.
It's March. Been waiting for them to come to me.
We'll follow up again with you in the summer. Usually, a good summer love is kicks things off.
We'll see.
let everybody know where they can follow you at.
Yes. So on Instagram, it's just at Rhavynn, RHAVYNN. Twitter, Rhavynn Drummer. Facebook, Rhavynn Drummer. Or my website is ravynndrummer.com.
All right, thank you, man.
Dr. Rhavynn.
Appreciate you coming through.
Thank you so much for coming through.
Thank you. This was fun.
Yeah, Rhavynn, slide in them DMs. Trending news.
I'll give you a hint what I'm going to talk about.
What is?
Wakanda forever.
Yes.
Yes. Black
Welcome to
Panther.
Wakanda.
Oh my goodness. Black Panther is now the 7th largest grossing film in history.
Dope.
Period. This past weekend, first of all, 5th weekend in a row, straight. Number one. Okay. It, according to my notes here, $1.182 billion.
Wow.
$1 billion worldwide.
And it started at how much? It was like 300,000, something like that? No, I'm sorry, 300 million.
300 million.
Yeah, that's
and look at, we're in the billions now. And it's the most tweeted about movie on Twitter.
Oh, yeah,
35 million tweets. So, like, imagine 35 million hashtag Black Panther.
Yeah. Black Twitter, man, we always win.
That's crazy. I love it.
Yeah.
How many times did you see the movie?
Twice.
Twice. Okay, you beat me.
Oh.
I saw it once.
Why?
I know, right?
Yeah,
I got to see it 3 more times.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got to see it one more.
In my mind, I felt like because I kept just reciting the movie that I saw it 3 more times, but studies show I only saw it once. Wakanda forever.
There you go.
Okay. Oh, anyway, speaking of forever. I was trying to. Does Jay-Z have a song called Forever?
Diamonds Are Forever.
Diamonds Are Forever. Yeah. Yep. Well, listen, Jay-Z and Beyonce on the Run tour kicks off officially June 6th in the summer.
You gonna see it?
UK. Are you kidding me? Yes. I saw the first one. I'll definitely be on the Run Part 2. Now, they'll be in the ATL August 25th through August 26th.
That kind of sucks, man. Why they going to the UK first, though?
That's a good question. I don't know. Maybe like how the world is shaped. They want to start here and come on around. I don't know. Yeah, that was just my most intelligent answer. Okay. Or maybe not most.
Maybe they're overseas already. That could be too.
Perhaps. But yeah. So August 25th, August 26th, they'll be here in an ATL. Mm-hmm. Word on the street is that one of those dates is already sold out. So the 25th is sold out already. Yeah. So get your tickets. Get your tickets. You know, a lot of people were talking about how people will pay all this money for a Jay-Z and Beyonce, concert ticket, but like car note is behind or lights is off, stuff like that. How much would you pay for a concert ticket? Like, what's your price range?
I don't pay for concert tickets.
I
just show up, you know what I mean? I did do a Future one recently. That was because it was last minute, but and somebody wanted to go. But I would go to a Jay-Z concert though.
Hell yeah, I definitely would.
I haven't been in a long time. I didn't go to On the Run 1, so I definitely wouldn't mind going to this one. Concert ticket, I don't know though.
Let's start the bid at $100.
Yeah, I'd do $100.
$200.
Yeah.
$300.
Depends,
Okay.
If me and Beyonce gonna go on a date, you know what I mean? Like,
if it was Jay-Z, Beyonce, Michael Jackson's hologram, and Stevie Wonder, I would probably pay $300.
I'm not with the whole hologram.
Yeah, you're not with it. You don't like it.
I mean, it might look cool, but it's not my thing. Like, I know that's not the real.
It's still not the same thing, but I think it's still very cool.
Yeah, it's cool. I wouldn't mind seeing it, but it would have to be like how they did Pac, and they brung him on with Snoop.
Yeah.
That would be cool. Like, all right, cool. But it's gonna be people literally going just to a hologram show. Actually, Chief Keef did one.
Really?
Yeah. He was in LA because he's like banded from Chicago.
Okay.
And he did it in Chicago, and they still shut down his show.
They banned his hologram.
They banned the
That's
hologram.
a bad mother, shut your mouth.
Yeah,
they
so
banned your hologram,
cannot
dog.
perform
It's
at
not
all.
even the real you.
Yeah.
It's a 3D projection of you, and they banned that.
And it was at a Stop the Violence event.
Trash! Trash!
So I'm not, holograms is cool, but if I'm gonna pay money, I want to see the real deal.
Well, I feel that. Well, get your tickets if you're going now because they're selling fast. Speaking of, I was trying to say speaking of selling fast, but this has nothing to do with it, so I'm just talking about it. Jessica, aka Jess Hilarious.
Yeah.
She was just cast in a Fox pilot featuring Lil Rel Howery. It's entitled Rel, and it is
comedy sketch, ain't it?
Yeah. Well, I believe it's a sitcom style, but it's Gerard Carmichael's of the Carmichael Show, which was very hilarious. He's the EP of it.
Oh, okay.
And Jess will star as the best friend of Rel. She plays somebody called Tiffany.
Okay.
So the tea is that she was replaced, or no, that she replaced somebody else, like after the table read.
Oh, wow.
So I think that's always interesting.
Yeah.
Like, no disrespect to, the actress, who was slated to play it before her, but it's just, I guess nothing is really set in stone until,
That's transitioning from like Instagram celebrity to television celebrity.
Listen, get it how you live. One thing I will say this because, I'm an actor first who has an Instagram. I wouldn't say that,
that you don't use.
Sorry, yeah, right.
That you don't use.
Hold on,
I try to promote you to use it all the time.
Right now. It's very strategic.
You detoxing.
I'm on a break right now. But, to those who are, have built a following on Instagram, more power to them because it is, a tool that has become very important, that is, that networks look at in terms of your brand positioning. I will just say that, just because you can do an Instagram video and get a lot of likes does not automatically mean, you're
it's going to
transition
actor.
To right. You have to have a certain level of, training, of understanding, and talent. You know what I mean? Again,
I think she might be right though.
But I think she's hilarious. I just hope that the Instagram, quote unquote, the social media stars who are transitioning to the, the acting and television shows and films, that they would do their due diligence.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You know who actually done very well, and that was surprising?
Who's
DC Young Fly.
DC Young Fly.
Yeah.
Shout out to and he's really, I've actually gotten the opportunity to work with him before. He's a fine young gentleman. He's really, really cool, down to earth, very personable, and hilarious.
Yeah, very
Yeah,
talented.
I think he's doing an excellent job. He's definitely putting on.
TRL? I don't know. But Almost Christmas, excellent.
Yeah.
The Bobby Brown, our New Edition story, he played the guy cutting the hair, dope, you know. So yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I will second that. I will second that motion. Yeah. No, there's a lot of them who are.
TRL, not that great?
No way.
No.
No comment. I don't buy concert tickets. That's gonna be my answer for everything. I can't believe you said that.
Nah, I think he's animated on that.
Okay.
But everything else, I think he was excellent on. Like
Okay.
I said, so you know, it's
Okay.
my honest opinion. It's my opinion. You know? Everybody got one.
Well, everybody has one.
That's true.
Speaking of everybody having one, I keep trying to connect
Yeah,
it.
I see.
It's not,
Where we going with this
it's
one?
not going. Okay. Oh, my last trending topic goes to my girl Tessa Thompson. For those of you who don't know, she's an amazing actress. You know her from Creed. You know her from Thor, Ragnarok. She's starring in the upcoming movie Sorry to Bother You with Lakeith Stanfield. She's an amazing actress. She's phenomenal. She has an entire Twitter account dedicated to her basically as a goat. It's called Tessa as Goats. So this Twitter account features memes side by side, like goat memes side by side, you know, pictures of her, like
With goats.
yeah, like
Okay.
so if in the picture, if she has on a red sweater, there's a goat next to her with a red sweater. But she's loving it. Like she has everybody say like, follow this account. It's hilarious to me. So, and it could be taken like as a troll account.
Yeah.
You know, somebody be like, oh, they're making fun of her, but everybody's like really lighthearted and fun about it. They're actually paying homage to her as an actor, like, and you know, they're saying like, oh, she's awesome, but this is super funny, and she's taking it, you know, well. And it just, I don't know, it's weird news, but it just made me think how, you know, social media, it really kind of changes the conversation for something that was meant could be taken one way, just simply because it's on Twitter. Yeah. You know what I mean? Or simply because a celebrity endorses it. It's like, it's cool. Like, it's okay.
It's cool.
It's okay
you know?
to
But
compare
if I say
her.
it and I put me with a goat,
Right.
and you know,
It's okay to
why he
compare
gotta go?
a beautiful actress to a goat and everybody, because she thought it was cool, because she gave the okay, like, hey, this is funny.
so they like saying she's a goat.
Yeah, they were comparing, like, all of these. Like,
maybe it's a metaphor, like she's a goat in acting.
Greatest of all time.
Yeah,
I see what you did there, sir. But no, they were literally, every picture that she had, like, they would find similar backgrounds of goats in them. And she kept retweeting them and like, hell yeah, like, just send more. Like, it became this thing. It was pretty funny.
The ER Show